let's talk about what it means to be shallow. Shallow is defined as something that is very at the surface or lacking depth. This is the word that's most commonly associated with the world of pageantry. People often look down upon it and view it as a bunch of self-absorbed, unintelligent girls who are just walking around the stage competing against one another to see who's the prettiest. But the reality is, the people who often hold this opinion are looking at it with a very shallow perspective, at the surface, without taking the time to dig deeper into the situation. Now, I know some of you may be thinking, no. I know pageantry. I've seen toddlers in tiaras. And for the few of you who may not know what that is, it's a show featured on the Learning Channel nonetheless, where mothers aggressively drag their little girls and boys sometimes across stage, having them prance around in pounds of costuming and makeup and accessories and things like that, just so they can live vicariously through their children. And the thing that people really don't realize is that these people are hand-picked. I know someone personally who had their child involved in these types of pageants, and they actually had the opportunity to be featured on this show. And when after, about an interview or so, they said, you're too calm. We need someone who's more exciting. Meaning basically that they were too normal and they need some crazy people to keep, the craziness going for 30 minutes. Now, what people also, again, fail to realize is that this is an extreme. To paint this as the average pageant is to say that this is the average 16-year-old girl. How many of you know a 16-year-old girl who's currently pregnant? None of you, or one of you. And to say that that's the average pageant is to say that this is the average 16-year-old girl, the Westboro Baptist Church are the average Christians, that these are the average Muslims, and the list goes on and on and on. And because, of course, these are the average Americans. My point is that we cannot take information solely based off of what the media presents to us, because these are shows made to entertain, not documentaries made to inform. My involvement with pageantry started when I was 13 years old within the Miss America system. And a lot of people, when I tell them this, they say, oh, you don't seem like you would do pageants, or you don't seem like the type of person to be involved with pageantry. And this really causes me to think, what is it that I don't seem like? Do I not seem like an elegant, intelligent, well-rounded individual who is very smart and talented? Or is it that I don't fit their preconceived notion of what a pageant girl should be? I honestly feel that pageantry has prepared me better for the real world than any other thing that I've gone through in life. People often ask, how do you get involved in a pageant? How do you run in a pageant, or what does it take to win? And the pageant is divided into these categories, starting with physical fitness. Now, we all know that obesity is a huge problem in America. And don't think we're just walking around saying, who's the thinnest, who's the most petite, who has the best body type. No, we're actually out there doing jumping jacks, we're doing push-ups, we're putting in work, and we all have to do that while looking cute and still trying to be presentable on stage. So that's just a fun area of the competition. Another thing that we do is evening wear. And this is obviously plays a bigger role in everyday life, because there will be times where you need to dress up, you need to, look elegant, you need to know how to carry yourself as a female and as a male sometimes in a formal setting and in formal attire. And there's a lot of students that I know who will go out and they'll feel very uncomfortable in what they're wearing. They won't know how to walk, they won't know how to, stand, they'll just kind of be, don't know what to do. And that's something that really helped me, because once you learn how to walk across the stage with 500 people staring at you in a long dress and high heels, you're pretty prepared for anything. Another thing is talent. And this is a good thing for people to develop their personal talents and see, what am I good at? What can I present to the world, and what makes me different from other people? And I was never the best dancer or performer or singer, but the fact that this was such a big part of pageants, and I know I wanted to win a pageant, it really helped me to perfect my skills and get better and better and better and start taking the lessons and doing the training so that I can do the things that I would like to do. But the biggest portions that will affect you in the everyday world are these here: personal interview, onstage question, and personal platform. When you apply for a job, when you go out into the real world, you're going to have to interview. There's going to be a point where you sit down, dressed in a formal, business attire, and you have to answer questions about yourself. You have to speak to the person interviewing you in a comfortable manner, and this is what I feel best prepares me for that, because they want to know about you. And they can ask you questions ranging from what's your favorite color to what's your political stance on this, that, and the other thing. Another thing is onstage question. And you can see it's only 5%, so it's a small portion of the overall score. However, this again plays a huge role in your everyday life, because you go on stage and you have to answer a question that you don't know what the question will be in front of a large audience. As you can see, I'm speaking to you right now, and I just didn't get up one day and say, oh, I'm just going to go start speaking to people. No, I had to train, I had to practice, and that was mainly for the onstage question portion of the pageant. And in life, again, there will be a point where you need to do a presentation, where you need to speak to a crowd, where you need to stand up, even if it's a toast at a wedding or a eulogy at a funeral. You're going to need to stand up in front of an audience and speak. In addition to that, they ask you some pretty tough questions sometimes. And these can be like these current events or political theories or, things that you wouldn't normally think about. Because, again, I was 13 doing this. So that really caused me to, get into politics and things like that and educate myself on what's going on around the world so I can be able to answer these questions. And as the future and as future voters, it's very important that you know what is going on. And the last bullet point here is personal platform. The personal platform is really what is your statement? What makes you different from everyone else, and what is your brand? And branding yourself is something that most people don't learn until, adulthood or early adulthood. What is my brand? What makes me me? And how can I present myself to the public? And that's what you learn by developing your platform. And I was 13 at the time, so I decided to go with a platform on recycling because that was something I was into. I still do that, but it's not something that I'm deeply passionate about as I was at the time. Now, although this system was very wonderful and I learned a lot through this system, there were also some downsides. And there were certain things that I've seen and that I've heard and things that I've experienced that didn't really make me feel comfortable. And it seemed like no matter how hard, because I was winning titles, and I won, a lot of local titles and a lot of, I won titles and I did appearances, and I'm really grateful for all of those opportunities. But it seems like at the highest level, there was always a barrier and not one that I can control. In the Miss California franchise of the Miss America program within the teens, there has never been a black female to ever win the title or even score high enough to get into that position. And it's not like this is a new program. This program has been around for nearly 20 years, and that has yet to happen. So I decided to join the Miss Black USA Talented Teen Pageant. And this time when I decided to develop my platform, I really wanted to make something. I really wanted to brand myself in a different way and something that I really felt passionate about. And my platform in this system was Black is Beautiful. There's a lot of times where in society, African American beauty is held to a European standard. And I've seen people who feel like, oh, my hair isn't this way, my body shape is this way, and my skin is like this, and I will never be like that. And that's very negative. We should not hold different ethnic groups to a standard that is specific to another. And I really wanted to develop my Black is Beautiful platform to encourage young girls specifically to feel confident in themselves and to love themselves as people. Now, my platform was inspired by the 1960s cultural movement, and what that was is basically during a time where Black people were really ashamed of themselves. They were perming their hair. They were trying to pass paper bag tests. Like if you weren't lighter than a paper bag, you couldn't enter this social group. And certain things that were very negative to the African American community. And the Black is Beautiful movement really showed them, like, you are great how you are. You don't have to do these certain things and eliminate your ethnicity to be proud of yourself. So that's kind of what I really wanted to do, because even in the media, you see people who are African American, yes, but they oftentimes have a very Eurocentric look, or they have Eurocentric features, or they have lighter skin and smoother hair and things like that. So I just really wanted to empower people. So I went, after winning, the Miss Black California USA pageant, I went to nationals, and I met a lot of people who, outside of this pageant, I wouldn't have been able to meet. Girls from all different states, girls from all different backgrounds and, schools and things like that. I got to talk to them, and it was a really growing experience to see how other people lived, because in Torrance, we're in this little bubble, and we just see the people who we live next to and things like that. So that was really great for me to step out of my comfort zone and broaden my horizons. And after I went up to nationals and I competed, I ended up winning the pageant. And this was a really proud moment for me, because I felt that I had put everything that I had to offer out on the stage, and I had done my work, and I had done my research and my volunteering and charity, and I had kept my grades up and did everything that I needed to do to be eligible to even compete in the pageant. So for me, winning the pageant was a chance to really express my platform. And through winning, yes, I got to do, magazine covers. I got to travel. I've done photo shoots of red carpet events and things like that. But the most important thing is that I've been able to really spread and promote my platform and go into schools and things like that and teach little girls that you are beautiful the way you are, and that you don't have to hold yourself to a standard that is unattainable for you, because your beauty is valued and it is accepted. So hopefully, when we look at the pageantry world and the world of pageantry, we can look at it with a little bit less of a shallow perspective. Thank you.